try and play a 12-bar sequence today using more of a country feel to it. I'll play it through and then explain exactly how I'm doing it. That's got a bit of bounce to it then. Now we've got a definite country flavour to this. The whole thing is in the key of G, and I'll break it down into its individual parts and explain what I'm doing here. You can apply this technique to lots of chord sequences as well as we go on. Now we start off with the run into the G chord. Now I pick string 6 open like that, up down with my pick. It's a quick up down. Then my first finger goes onto the 6th string at fret 1 and I pick that. Then my first finger comes along the 6th string to fret 2 and I pick that. So there's our little run in. Again, when you first do this, slow's the way to go. And then we put a G chord on our guitar. Now the version of G that I'm doing is the one with the bar at fret 3. So we place our first finger over all 6 strings. Our second finger's on the 3rd string at fret 4. Our third finger's on the 5th string at fret 5. And our little finger's on the 4th string at fret 5. So that's our G chord. And this is the picking pattern that we use. Now it's often referred to as hybrid picking this. It's where we pick with a pick and our fingers as well. So what I'm doing, I'm picking string 6 with the plectrum or the pick, and it's a downstroke. And then I squeeze strings 4, 3 and 2 together at the same time. You can see me do that. Now I'm picking the 4th string with the pick, string 3 with my 2nd finger, and string 2 with my 3rd finger. So I'm literally squeezing the strings rather than strumming them. I'm exaggerating that then. So we get. That's what we're after. Then we pick the 6th string with the pick, 2nd string with our 3rd finger, then the 4th string with the pick. And that gives us our picking pattern. So if I play that from the G, that's what we get. Now when you do this at home, slow is the way to go, remember. And then a bit like a train, you gather speed. You could, if you want, release the pressure on the chord slightly when you're doing this. Once you've got the pattern, if you release the pressure on and off, that squeeze the chord on and off, you'll get that slight percussive effect with it. But that's something to work towards. Initially, just get the pattern. Now the idea is to do it 3 times like that. And then at the end of that, pick string 6 and cut the sound with the side of your hand. So we get this effect. Then repeat the whole thing. Having done it twice, we then move into a C7 chord. So now we pick string 5 open, up, down, and then we pick string 5 at fret 1 with our first finger on it, and then string 5 at fret 2 with our second finger on it. Then we put a C7 chord on the guitar. Now a C7 is our first finger on the 2nd string at fret 1, second finger on the 4th string at fret 2, 3rd finger on the 5th string at fret 3, and our little finger, our fourth one, on the third string at fret 3. That's a C7 chord. And we're going to bounce the bass on this one, like that. I'll explain what I'm doing there. I pick string 5 with my pick with a downstroke, and then just as we did on the G chord, we squeeze strings 4, 3 and 2 again with our pick and fingers 2 and 3. So remember, the pick picks the fourth string, second finger the third string, third finger the second string, and you pull the strings like that. Then on our left hand, our third finger comes off of the fifth string at fret 3 and goes over to string 6 at fret 3. So we change the bass note to a G. We then pick the sixth string with our pick, then the second string with our third finger, and then the fourth string with the pick again, one after the other. So that's 6, 2, 4. So on the C7 chord we get this effect. Now once you can do that, take that third finger back to the fifth string at fret 3 and repeat the picking pattern again. And take it back and do it a third time. So we get. And then right at the end you just pick string 5 again at fret 3 with your third finger back on it. Then we return back to the G. So nothing new to learn there, that's exactly the same as I described at the beginning. So I'll just recap to that point. We've got G, repeat, C7, back to G. Now we're going to move to D7. Now to run into the D7 chord, we put our first finger on the fifth string at fret 2 and we go up down with our pick, like that. Then our second finger goes onto the fifth string at fret 3 and we pick that one. Then our third finger goes onto the fifth string at fret 4 and we pick that one. And then we place on the D7 chord, which is identical to the C7 that we did earlier, but 2 frets up. So our first finger's on the second string at fret 3, second finger's on the fourth string at fret 4, third finger's on the fifth string at fret 5, and our little finger's on the third string at fret 5. You can play the 4 inside strings on that chord. It's a D7. And we pick it the same as the C7. So for the pattern you pick the fifth string with a downstroke and then squeeze strings 4, 3 and 2 together at the same time with our pick and 2 fingers, just as we did on the C7. Nothing changes. Then our third finger goes over to the sixth string at fret 5 to change the bass note to an A. Pick the sixth string with your pick, then you pick the second string with your third finger, and then the fourth string with the pick, one after the other. So that's 6, 2, 4. So on the D we get this effect, on the D7. Then the idea is to bring the bass note back to the fifth string at fret 5 and repeat it again. Then a third time. And then end up on the fifth string at fret 5, just pick that note. Right, having done the D7, we then come back to the G. Which you'll know to finish the sequence. I'll play it all through slowly, and again remember, like everything you do, slow is always the way to go when you start. Again. Up to the C7. to D7. Back to G. And with a bit of practice, you might notice when I do it quicker, the run-ins on each chord, instead of double picking the first note, I sometimes only pick it once. But it's identical. It's optional really what you do there. There's a little run you can do at the end of that which is quite fun. For those that like the little runs at the end. Put your second finger on the second string at fret 2, pick it and slide to fret 3. When you get there, pick the open first string and then pick the second string at fret 3 again. Put your third finger on the first string at fret 3, pick and pull off, snap it off like that. Then put your second finger on the second string at fret 3, pick and snap off. Then put your second finger on the third string at fret 2, pick that one and slide to fret 3 on the third string. Like that. Then pick the open second string, then pick the third string at fret 3 again. Then your third finger goes on the second string at fret 3, pick and snap off. Then your second finger goes on the third string at fret 3. Pick and snap off. So when we put those two bits together we get. Then we put our second finger on the fourth string at fret 2, pick that one and slide to fret 3, like that. Then pick the open third string. Then follow that by picking the fourth string at 3 again. Then we put our second finger on the fourth string at fret 2, pick and snap off. Then our second finger goes to the fifth string at fret 2, pick and snap off. Then our second finger goes back to the fourth string at 2, pick and snap off. Then our first finger goes to the fifth string at fret 1, pick and snap off. It's a good pull-off exercise this. Just like that. And end up with your third finger on the sixth string at fret 3 and pick that as a single note there, bass note. You can then fold the G chord on and resolve it like that. So just add your little finger to the first string at fret 3 and your second finger to the fifth string at fret 2. I'll play that whole run in slow motion. Yeehaw!